Is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. Thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Who that to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the live. Much love to you guys. Much love, much love. It's hump day. We up in this thing, Coma representing. We up in this thing. So shout out to the fam, man. We up in this thing. Big ups. It's a whole lot now. It's that guy day. It's reaction to whatever he said. I didn't listen to the press conference, fam. You know, I purposefully did not listen to the press conference or the press or whatever you want to call it, so I can listen to whatever Slick Mick has to say about what's going on with the team. So what you guys are going to get from my reaction is basically is fresh, because I purposely didn't listen to this guy. I've been listening to him for years. So, I mean, I will see what he has to say this time around, but we'll react to that momentarily. Let's hop right into some news to the fam right now. Saints picking up wide receiver Chris Olave's fifth-year option. There you go for him, and declines offensive tackle Trevor Penning's option, which is what we kind of knew that was going to happen. Now, this was something that Loomis talked about. They're exercising Chris Olave's fifth-year option, but will not pick up Penning's option. This is shout out to Nick Underhill with the scoop. This will make Penning an unrestricted free agent in 2026, which then would give you, that doesn't necessarily mean that he goes. Now, what could happen is that the Saints could then work out a restructure that is more fitting to their likings, because we've seen this before when the Saints did decline the option of a guy and then end up turning around and working out an extension with the guy and paying him the money. But the kind of money that Penning would have got, it's no reason why they would turn it down, right? And it also opens up options for the Saints too. You know, just showing it straight up. He's going into year 4. First couple of years of his development was severely stalled. He got his first full year of action. We got to see what's happening this year with Trevor Penning. So he has to move and shake pretty fast, because with a new administration, and these guys are going to come in and look at it like we talked about, billing those lines. You know, so we'll see what they do. So anyway, Olave 24, first team All Big Ten in 2020 and 21, second team AP All American in 20 as a senior, And then the Saints traded up and used the number 11th overall pick on him back in 2022's draft. He's earned in the final year of a $19.2 million contract that includes over $11 million. He'll make $15.49 million under the fifth-year option for 2026. And that'll be more of incentive for the Saints to work on getting a deal done and kind of getting Chris Olave to stick around for multiple years. He's shown enough. I think you need to pair him with a bigger wide receiver. In 2024, he appeared in 8 games for the Saints, caught 32 passes, 400 yards, and 1 score. Penning, 25, was the 19th overall pick back in 2022 out of Northern Iowa. He was a 3-year starter at Northern Iowa and earned first-team All-American and 5-team All-MVFC honors in 21 and was an honorable mention of All-MVFC in 2020. A lot of accolades for him. Came here and it just really stalled his development. He entered the final year of a 4-year deal over $14 million rookie contract that includes $7.4 in signing bonus money. And Penn is now set to be an unrestricted free agent in 2020, following the 2025 season. In 2024, he appeared in 17 games at the right tackle position. So Penning will have to show the new administration that he is worth the second contract so he can move forward. But like I said, this could be a situation where there are a lot of really good offensive linemen that'll be available in the draft throughout the first 3 to 4 rounds. You can get really good value on some of these guys that'll be available. And although we're hearing a lot of stuff going on in terms of the Black and Gold Nation, man, we'll see how it all shakes and folds moving forward. So anyway, big ups to you guys. Thank y'all for being in the live, man. Listen, man, much love. Let's get ready to do the Mickey Loomis thing. Shout out to you, Rico Black Major. Brother Gundam says, Q, why do a press conference if you're not going to answer questions? You the analyst, Brother Q, make it make sense. That's what Mickey Loomis does, bro. He does press conferences with no answers. He does it at the end of the, I've often said, Mickey Loomis, he doesn't do in-season evaluations on the team, so he has no answers. Why did you fail? Where he just comes up with excuses and people are just like, that's not really what happened. That's really bad, by the way. When people really see you who you are and know you're supposed to do evaluations of your general manager. That's why I like to split the job apart, because you have a VP making sure the general manager does what he does, and then it rolls downhill. But you got one guy that's not checking anything, just hire the guy, whatever. And then you got the guy above his head that don't know anything. So you just got a stupid structure of unaccountable people, and he knows he's unaccountable. And she does nothing to slap him down to make him know you're just an employee. I don't care if you own somebody's will or whatever the hell it is. Just slap him down and let him know, hey, man, this is my team and you work for me. That type of stuff. Just flex a little power. Why don't you? Show a little backbone. But yeah, brother, it's just, we'll see what he's talking about here. Arnold, what's up, Arnold? Shout out to you. He says Loomis is incompetent. And to have a press conference smacking chewing gum is unprofessional and rude. It shows Gail Benson is not only blind, she's deaf too. And give you all a round of applause for that one, bro. That's not just me that sees it. V Griffin, shout out to you, man. Brother Byron, OG Jerry, Bev, what's up, Beverly? Shout out to you, Pelicans Nola. Good to see y'all in the chat. What's up, Michael? Shout out to Michael Taylor as well. Big ups. Brother Gregory, how you doing, sir? Happy hump day to you as well. Young City 9. AG was popping. Yeah, I got you, brother. Big Velly. What's happening, man? Kai, what's up, Kai the Great? Big ups to you, my brother. What's up, Riley? Shout out to you, King Chosen One. Big ups to you, man. He says, don't hold us long, Q, with this mess. All right, I'm going to try not to, my brother. I'm going to try not to. Okay. All right. What's up, brother Hennessy? How you doing, man? Big ups to you, man. This Poppy 504. St. John, how you doing, sir? 504 Code. Marley Mall's in the building. Brother Jerry Covington. He says, Mickey Loomis need to stop with these games. Shaking my head. I know, brother. Charlie Dog, how you doing, fam? Much love to you, man. A-Camp, shout out to you, brother. I see you, man. He says, raise Mickey so we can get a real general manager. We need someone young and hungry. He's just smothering the team. What's up, T Dirty? Shout out to my brother T Dirty, man. Much love. T Dirty, I'm going to sport your gear, man, on the draft stream, bro, this weekend, man. Shout out to T Dirty as well. All right. Big ups to everybody, man. Good to see you, man, in the building as always, man. So let's get right into it, man. Let's see what Slick Mickey got to do because, and after that, we'll go over what Cat Terrell had to say about Mickey Loomis during this interview. Questions were asked about, in terms of, what she's saying here about Derek Carr and all this kind of stuff. And Mickey Loomis does what Mickey Loomis does. He does the thing where oh, my God damn it. I'm not answering any questions on that. Hold on now, and this kind of stuff. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to get to Slick Mickey and see what he got to say. And y'all just hang. Y'all hit the like button and just understand, no fam, I'm gonna break every now and again if I hear something very interesting, which or funny or have something to add. So here we go. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah, look, appreciate y'all being here. I understand that you've got a lot of questions.
It's kind of low, man.
Draft, but first I want to hopefully answer the questions about Derek Carr. He does have an issue with his shoulder. We're hoping to get some resolution and clarity on that in the near future. And when we do, I'll report back to you. Otherwise, I don't have anything more to state about Derek, but I'm open to any pre-draft questions that you might have. Yeah, I'm just not going to answer any more questions about Derek. I mean, this is a pre-draft. If you have questions about the draft, then I'm more than happy to answer those. But in terms of the roster and Derek, I'm not going to answer any more questions about that today.
Mickey Loomis, man. Mickey Loomis. Talk to him, Brother Greg. Brother Greg got to talk to him.
The problem is you trying to talk with your shit and you don't know nothing instead of listening. Huh?
I'm listening.
Okay? No. I get $40,000, man, and I dare motherfucker to... Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I mean, it's the biggest question of the offseason about Derek Carr. I mean, it's not a secret, Mickey. You can... Hey, hold on. Hold on, goddammit. I just told your ass. Oh, I'm not answering that question. Then I just tell you guys that. Hold on now. See, yeah. Let me tell you something. Look at my jacket here. Look at my jacket. It's stylish with this shirt. Ask me about that. But listen, man, the bottom line is you look at Mickey Loomis, the Derek Carr situation. We didn't create that situation. The Saints hid that situation. Derek Carr released it to put pressure on the Saints because he wants out of here. He wants to be gone. So, and I'm cool. I'm totally fine with Derek Carr leaving. I've told y'all before. I'm not for one-way relationships. If once somebody wants to go, you don't hold on to them. You let them go. Let him go because he ain't really doing nothing for us anyway. 14 and 13, $150 million. That's not a good deal. But instead of doing the right thing, he wants to save face. That's not good leadership there, Mickey. I just told your ass, goddammit. Then I just see that's what I'm talking about here. You guys just don't listen. Hold on now, Then I just tell you not to do that. Oh, hold on. Oh, good grief. You guys, you don't listen here. Hold on. What the hell, man? What's wrong with you guys? Hold on. God damn it. Hold on.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to answer any questions about Derek at this time.
Why not Loomis? Why not?
Yeah, I don't think the draft approach for us is any different than it would be in any year. We're looking for as many good players, great players as we can find. And look, we're fortunate enough this year to have multiple picks in the first 4 rounds, and we're excited about that because I think there's some depth in this draft that we'll be able to help our roster. Yeah, I feel really good about it and excited about the staff, the new staff, excited about some of the things that we're doing that are different. And I feel like from the player standpoint, I just feel a level of excitement and enthusiasm that
the players you don't talk to? Look at my jacket.
Yeah, again, this is a pre-draft press conference. I'm not going to answer any questions like that. We got a lot of time between now and the season.
Can I ask just a general procedural question?
All right, so let me get this straight. Is there ever going to be a Derek Carr press conference with Mickey Loomis answer questions about what's going on with Derek Carr, the starting quarterback of the team, who's currently obviously holding out for whatever reason? He's not happy. He's holding out. He says he's hurt. Questions around whether he's hurt or not. A lot of people believe it's a ploy. It's the biggest question that's hovering over the team. But all of a sudden, hold on now. Hold on, guys. This is a pre-draft. See, read it here, down here. You see it right there down the line. You guys could read. You're a media. Look right there. It's pre-draft. No Derek Carr questions. So it will ever be a press conference, Loomis, where it is Derek Carr questions that you'll answer? Come on, bro. Just Mickey is something else, man. No, I'm not answering any questions on Derek Carr. God damn it. Just the $150 million quarterback that's disgruntled. It's just not small potatoes. Not a practice squad player with a stub toe. This is boy, I tell you, man. Boy, oh boy. Where did they get these guys from, man?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. They don't have to necessarily come with restructures. Can come in all sorts of forms. So, yeah.
Now, see, that was a great question. You can't hear the questions that well because whoever's running the sound over there at New Orleans, it sucks. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and the sound like you on public access television, don't it? They got ridiculous amounts of air within it, like they frying that, like behind that Oshina Health banner, they got 7 skillets frying eggs behind there. That's what it sounds like. The fries are just going. Just the sound going. It's public access. It's public access ass sound. This is a multi-billion-dollar operation over here. Can we get and it was the same way yesterday with the Joe Dumars press conference, wasn't it? The sound was low. You can't hear what they saying. You got to take one of them old things from back in the day and stick it in your ear. One of them old school hearing devices, just to hear what they got to say. But what he asked them about the restructure coming with a physical. And I believe that was Mike Triplett that said that. He asked them about, Mike Triplett knows. Because I talked about this, we covered this, and he was trying to work around, and Loomis heard what he said and just kind of, and this restructure's coming, all kind of stuff. Some of them do, but whatever. So, I mean, the bottom line was, if Carr was hurt and you knew he was hurt, how did he pass the physical to get to the restructure? That's the question I was asking. Because we know we covered it because we talked about how could the Saints get from under Derek Carr's contract, right? To get to the money on the other side that he just got, he had to pass a physical to do it. How did he pass the physical if he was hurt? And they're saying that it's a injury that occurred during the season. So how did he pass the physical if he was hurt? How did that work? He don't want to talk about it. Knowing this guy, he probably didn't give him a physical. Oh, you don't have to do that. Just come over here and drink some of this gourmet orange juice and eat some of this. This. Come on over here. All I know, I mean, this is amazing, man. Is anybody going to get to him? Is Gail Benson going to do anything? It's crazy, man. That's the question. How did he get to the money if he was hurt?
Yeah. For that, 50th time now? I guess I haven't been there 50 times. Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah, I think you're looking for quality players. So we're always looking for the best player we can get wherever we're drafting. More often than not, when you're on the clock, you've got 2 or 3 players that are all graded roughly the same, and then you go to, okay, which of these positions fits us, at that time in terms of your roster need. More often than not. Every once in a while, there's just a guy out there that's so far graded above everyone else. We just got to take this guy. That's happened to us. It happened to us when Deuce McAllister was drafted. We had Ricky Williams. We had a really good running back, and yet his grade was just so much greater than anyone else's on the board. We took him, best available player. It happened with Will Smith, as I recall, when we took Will Smith. So more often, though, you've got 2 or 3 guys in a cloud. They're all graded roughly the same. You have the same opinion about them, and then you're just sorting out by position at that point. Yes.
Bro, this is public access TV like a mug. Y'all hear all that? But that ain't me. What's going on here?
I do. And I'm not saying that we haven't ever done that before, but that's, I think, generally when you, and sometimes those turn out. Maybe you overdraft someone higher than what you've got them graded, but it turns out.
That's right.
But I think that a lot of times when you make mistakes, it's because the value didn't match where you were drafting.
You made a mistake because you didn't draft the right player with the scheme, and your people didn't develop them fast enough.
Does that change your thinking that, like, now we have to go get this position because it's kind of all out, or if you just said maybe what?
I mean, it could. I don't. I'm not saying that it necessarily. I can't think of a specific example, but yeah, I mean, you're always paying attention to your roster and who, if we had to play a game tomorrow, who are we lining up? So you always pay attention to that, but you also recognize we're not playing a game tomorrow. We've got time. Then there's other avenues to fill needs. There's free agency, there's the draft, there's trades, there's guys are going to get released in the during training camp, and so there's going to be other opportunities.
Maybe how much more is it within the 9 case that this individual contributes or starts individual?
Look at my jacket. My jacket is I'm sly.
Yeah.
But picking a guy that he's going to contribute for the 2025 season.
Yeah, well, I think that varies from team to team. You may take somebody that's more developmental if you think the upside's really huge. I think for us, if we're picking in the top 10, we're looking for somebody that, man, we're going to count on this guy for the next 8 to 10 years, and he's going to fill that spot, and we're not going to have to worry about it. That for me, that's the goal. And that sometimes that might be a home run, a perennial Pro Bowl player, but sometimes it might be a guy that just, man, we can sleep at night because we got that position covered for the next, 8 to 10 years.
Given the current situation, when it comes to trading up and trading back, new coaching staff and all that, would you say maybe the philosophy could be a little different this year when it comes to not giving up draft picks and trade up?
Well, make it thirsty.
Going with the same philosophy no matter what.
Well, look, I know my record says something different. I've never been against trading back. It just appears that way. I think when you have a new coaching staff, obviously we're getting to know each other. We're getting to know each other's philosophies. Kellen and I have talked a lot about draft philosophy, about what he wants to get accomplished in year one.
All right.
Where we're at, all those things. So
Almost.
it comes into play, yes. But I think how I feel about things and philosophy hasn't changed, and how he feels and his philosophy hasn't changed either. We're just trying to communicate that and make sure we're on the same page and aligned, which I think we are. It's been a fantastic experience so far. So
That's right. Hold on.
I don't know if that answered your question, but that's where we're at.
I was going to ask about the trade-off, right? Because you've done that. We have trade-off. You got to be in control, right?
Yeah.
You feel good. You get your guy.
Yeah.
Trade back is separation. You feel pretty good. I'm just not wondering, is that for the one? And two, Jeff, would you or a mentor?
Oh, they frying burgers and everything, steak fries and everything behind that damn curtain.
I mean, I don't recall ever being burned by that. But
Get you some gum. Get some gum. Gum stop you from coughing, according to Mickey Loomis.
I would say this in general. When I look at it, I believe in our evaluation process. I believe in our grades. And so just philosophically, it's hard for me to say, I want to trade back and get a lesser player than I can get from moving forward. So if you move forward, you're guaranteeing yourself, in my mind, a better player based upon our grades. Now, we got to be right?
Right.
As opposed to going back, and I might end up with a lesser player. So
That's right.
just,
Hold on.
and I get that you're getting more swings, right? When you trade back, you're picking up assets and you're getting more swings. So I understand that philosophy. I don't disagree with it. They can all work. Sometimes you might feel like I can trade back and still get the guy that I was going to take. That's when it really makes a lot of sense, right? When you feel like you can move back some spots and still get the guy or one of the guys that you really wanted.
I want to see what they do, man.
As of this morning, yes. There's a lot of.
It'll be interesting to see, the questions, because these questions are asked every draft presser for Mickey Loomis. We've seen quite a few of them. Are you going to move back? You going to do this, that, and the third? It's basically the same rhetoric we heard before. We're going to take the best player available. It's draft 101, right? Because you're not trying to divulge any information that's going to tip your hand to your opponent, even though, a lot of people believe the Saints were really interested in was Shedeur Sanders. And most of the times people NFL teams do not want that to be known of who they're going to pick, because another guy whose position maybe 5 to 10 spots behind you will see, okay, they're there, and will try to offer a package to leapfrog you to get to him. But the feeling is a lot of the teams ahead, whether it's Cleveland, there are quite a few teams that could use that guy. Cleveland, and they talk about I heard Colin Cowherd talked about Cleveland doesn't want a quarterback because they have Deshaun Watson, they got Pickett, and they signed Flacco. And I'm like, Flacco is probably a 1-year deal. Deshaun Watson is more than likely is going to be gone soon. I mean, he just got thrown out in the press by his owner. I mean, the governor, whatever. The owner came out and talked about he'll swing and a miss in terms of him, and he's still on the team. Like, damn, that's a way to kind of, and he's been horrible up there. But yeah, hey, man, he didn't put a gun on you to tell you, hey, man, let me go to Cleveland. Y'all gave him all that money. It didn't work out. And then there is Pickett. Pickett is unproven. I mean, he has some potential, but nobody's going to hang their franchise or whatever. They want somebody that's going to draw. And of course, I was looking at some reports about Shedeur. A lot of the scouts are calling him entitled. I knew it was something like that. Now it's starting to come out a few days before the draft. Now all of a sudden he's not as fast as he's supposed to be. He's not this, that, and third. And now you're starting to see the real bull crap, which is they're calling him entitled. It's not about entitlement. It's about, can he produce? Can he produce on a high level? Does he have the football acumen, the high IQ, the processor, to process the field? He does at times looks and stares a little too much longer, but he does see what he likes. He just has to be coached out of that. 4 years of tape, high production from him. I still consider him the best quarterback in this draft. The hell what they talking about. But the rest of these guys, now it's all about entitlement. I read a report they were talking about that, labeling them as entitled. I'm like, what the hell that got to do with anything? But is entitlement a way to drop your stock that damn far to the point where now you're not even, when they went older, everybody's cool on him? I shall see come up this first round tomorrow where he goes, all this BS. And if they saying that, if the Browns don't get him, if the Jets don't get him, he's going to be there at 9. We're going to see what the Saints do, because do not pull a Lamar Jackson, or should I say a Davenport, which is the dumbest move in the history of New Orleans. And they've had quite a few of them in which they basically had an opportunity to draft the Lamar Jackson and chose Marcus Stinkin' Davenport from UTSA. And I think he signed with somebody on a 1-year deal, but an unmitigated bust. One of the worst decisions the Saints ever made in the draft. Terrible decision to pass up on, but they've been doing that. So if Shedeur is there, they better take him. And you put him and Spencer in the competition for each other for that damn job. And then you move Derek Carr out of here. That's what you do. And then you go from there. Then let the draft board decide based on your board what you got to do. But you got the big one out of the way for the next 8 to 10 years, as he says. Let's go back to Slick Mickey with
the tweaking. And look, it's not like there's some dramatic change, but there's a lot of, this guy's ahead of this guy's back, grades are all in the same area. Which guy do we really prefer over the other guy? And that's when, position may come into play.
Mickey doing a lot of hand gestures today.
How much impact do you think Coach Taylor? What kind of time do you get the player? Would you like?
I got a new haircut. Oh.
A lot.
My jacket.
And look, the structure of our defense is changing. And so there's been a lot of conversations about that, really since the day they walked into the building, including not just
some gun, Mickey
and Jeff, and Michael Parrington, but with all of our scouting staff and all the people that are involved in personnel, because we have to, in order to do a good job of evaluating for our team, we have to understand what they're asking our players to do, and so it is different. You know, the types of guys and what they're asking you to do is different.
Well,
than,
could that be a situation like with Zach Bond, and here's outstanding with special teams, and you really get opportunity, you put him in the right
Yeah.
place, and then he goes to the Eagles.
Yeah.
He's up to like,
yeah,
Mickey,
That's
from a
painful.
roster standpoint, do you feel like this roster, your roster now, could use more help, more depth help,
Yeah.
more across the board help,
Sure.
than maybe in some previous years?
yeah, sure. I mean, I think every GM in our league, including Philadelphia, who just won the Super Bowl, they all feel like, we got to help our roster. We got to get better here. You know, we all feel that way.
I mean, do you feel differently
No, Mickey.
about your roster this year maybe than you did
Yeah.
years ago?
Don't broad stroke it, bro.
I don't know. I'd have to really put a lot of time and thought into that. I mean,
Why
every
not?
year I feel like, man, we got to get better in this area. We got to get better in that area. I mean, the areas are different, from year to year, but I'm always feeling like, we haven't got enough. We haven't got enough.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't, man. Mickey Loomis is not active in the on season, fam. He's not. This is the same guy that says that I'm overly patient. Remember that? This is the same guy. That's the problem. That's what we talk about during the season when you see the Saints, instead of making trades to get players that impact the depth right away, Saints be playing around with practice squad players from Canada. They pick up a tight end that's never going to see the light of day. He got more of a chance of being hired for the janitor position than he does playing on the football field. Some of the Saints people, what are these guys here for? I mean, they picking up these practice squad players. I mean, they pick them up and sign them, fam, and they don't even have a picture. I mean, what does that got to tell you, man? I mean, you see the article on their damn site, and it'd be a picture of a helmet on the field. Saints just signed Carlos Barloff from University of Canada or whatever. He don't even got a picture. It's a picture of 3 helmets on the field. Might as well put a damn picture of a silver trash can out there, man, because that's what it is. But no, Mickey's not active enough, man. Mickey doesn't talk to the players. He doesn't do in-season evaluations. And the man asked him a question about depth on your team. Everybody feels that way, goddammit. Hold on now. Yeah, look at my jacket. Everybody feels this way, all the time. Hold on. All the teams feel that way. And the man had to reframe it. It's like, no, Mickey, I'm talking about we're talking about the team, the depth perspective, your depth. The offensive line is, the backups are garbage. Yeah, Ali Udo and Shane LePew and all these other guys running around here, they're gone now. So you have to do a better job of adding solid depth. When guys get hurt on the offensive line, we have a quality lineman we could put in his place and keep this thing turning and twisted. And he's saying, yeah, we ain't doing that. I'm always looking at. No, you're not. You don't do that. No, you don't. Because that's one of my major criticisms about Mickey Loomis. He's not active enough during the end season in trades and otherwise, man.
You talk about us mining your history. So it's
Yeah.
like, when you first got here, you were with Randy.
Yep.
You all signed Blake. You traded for Aaron Brooks. And then when Sean got here, you got the Breeze. And then when Dennis took over, you chased Sean Watson. And then you got Derek
Yeah.
Carr. Is there any type of
Yeah.
urgency to get Kellen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's always urgency about. I mean, it's just not that. I mean, you're citing that position, but there's urgency about that at every position. I want to make sure we're getting players that the coaches want, that believe they can win with, regardless of whether they're here or not. We're always looking to provide them with the resources they need to be successful.
Got to get it. Yeah, the resources to be successful.
Based on, I know you said you still may have a couple more tweaks to when it comes to the draft grades and all that good stuff. What position groups have really kind of stuck out to you based on draft grades heading into this weekend?
Well, I can't talk about that.
Check out in terms of what?
Just like, at what positions you think this draft is like the deepest?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say that. Yeah.
You can't say nothing.
I feel like that there's more defensive linemen than most years. That we have great, and look, we got the same numbers, right, every year. But in terms of top 2 or 3 rounds, I feel like, and I don't know this guy, I haven't counted, but I feel like there's more defensive linemen than most years, and I feel like there's fewer corners, for example, than most years. But I haven't really quantified that.
No, I don't see that.
It's hard for me to answer that question. I just did, but
It's about the same, bro.
I'm not that confident in the answer.
What can you say about
Oh my God! Did you hear this?
Yeah, I mean,
Nah,
I think
Mick.
there's guys that are good quarterbacks, really good quarterbacks, and
That's about the same, Mickey.
I don't know if the quantity is the same as some other years, but that goes up and down, you know. And look, one thing about that position, I think that you fall in love with somebody, and you know, I think each of our teams sometimes that's a different guy.
When you come back like 15 with Derek Grayson and just going forward, just
Yeah.
what is your guys' philosophy in
Yeah.
terms of like urgency and resource spending on just finding that young quarterback prospect and maybe getting really good? Is it something that maybe hasn't aligned where you wanted it to in that respect? Or like, how do you guys look at that? Just-
Yeah, well, I think, look, one thing is different when, you know, in the middle of, that's the middle of Drew Brees era, right? So there wasn't a lot of urgency about that, but you're always wanting you always want to take swings and develop, you know, the position. That's good business.
There wasn't no urgency.
I think the thing that you have to really resist is overdrafting and taking someone that way sooner, because that's opportunity cost, right? If we take somebody way sooner than maybe we should have, we're taking a swing. If it doesn't work out, we missed out on whatever player who ended up being the Pro Bowl, or, you know, whatever it is. So it's hard to resist, though. It's, you know, it's hard to do that sometimes.
What about a position where there's like higher positional value and scarcity comes
Yeah.
into play? Is that even harder not to take a swing and to maybe reach?
Yeah, I think that you know, what we perceive as high position value affects how we grade them, for example, and certainly affects whether we take somebody, particularly when you have them all graded in the same area, right? Even if you're strong at that position.
Has taking quarterbacks and back-to-back drafts changed the way you look at the position, or what you look for, how it's going to look experience the last 2 years before anything you are going to quarterback?
Yeah, I don't think that's changed anything. I mean, we like both those guys as prospects, and we like them. So I think that's, again, I think all teams are in the business of quarterbacks.
It's the most important position we have, and Mickey talked about urgency in the Drew Brees era, and that's the thing that we talked about ad nauseum, especially when Drew Brees got toward the back of his career, about getting a young quarterback here to guide the team to the next 10 years. If the Saints had done it, because they had an opportunity to land up several really good quarterbacks. I just mentioned Lamar Jackson. Could you imagine the Saints if they drafted Lamar Jackson and he would have been after Drew Brees? Drew leaves and Lamar Jackson is there. We wouldn't have, if that was the case, we wouldn't have seen the last couple of years of Drew Brees at the quarterback position because he was getting hurt. If we'd have got hurt, Lamar Jackson would have been phased in, and then Drew pretty much would have been, you know, that would have been the end of his era, because Lamar would have gotten there and then it was over with. Things would have changed a bit too, because the Taysom Hill thing wouldn't have looked quite the same, right? Because Taysom was a guy that was brought in to kind of be the designated deep ball thrower, because Drew's arm had shrunk to like 10 yards, maybe 12-yard throws. So, and then Taysom was supposed to be the designated deep ball thrower. But all that would have definitely looked different, including the fact that Sean Payton would still be the coach of the team. And Sean Payton's not going nowhere if Lamar Jackson was here, and no doubt about it. The Saints would look totally different. There wouldn't be the kind of dysfunction that we've seen over the last 3 years here. It would have been totally different looking. But that just goes to show you how decisions at the quarterback level and important levels of the team really impact. Like the last 3 year drafts has not been hitting on much. You know what I'm saying? It really, because, you know, you have each year you building on something, and we've seen the Saints draft very poorly. Or if they're drafting guys, these guys are not getting developed by the coaching staff and acclimated into the team successfully or functionally. You know, you've seen it with Zach Bourne. The Saints, Sean Payton had an idea about Zach Bourne, what he wanted to do, but it never materialized. Then he goes to Philly, different system. They know how to utilize him. Bam. The guy doing this gets a major component in what they were doing to win that championship. And like, where the hell was this guy? He'd been here the whole time. But like I said, it's not about just drafting these people. You got to draft a person that fits what you do. That's, you know, and then the thing that really helps it is the fact that if you draft a guy and it's a similar system to what you're operating in, that's a shorter learning curve to get him more. Because remember, when you draft these guys, they're on the clock from day one. You got this guy under contract for 5 years or 4 years. And you have to see what you can get. Now look at Trevor Penning. The Saints took him 3 years ago? No, 4 years. It's going into his 4th year. And he just got through playing the first full season last year. And now they decline his option. Like I said, they can re-up with Trevor Penning at a cheaper rate. But the point is, you need to get, when you get a first round draft pick player, he needs to get in there, get reps right away. Like, that's the thing about first, second, and third round picks. Whoever you're taking there, they better be a starter. You're not taking first rounders for depth. Like we took, a couple years ago, we took Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame, who was Notre Dame's all-time sack master. He come in here, the dude can't even get off the bench. He can't even get off the bench. I think he got like a half a sack. He can't even get off the bench. So, I mean, they're supposed to be, if you're drafting these guys, they have to be a slot there that you can get them ready to slide to. And like I said, most people see obviously a first round pick, second round pick. Those are starter picks. And even in most deeper drafts, you see a third round pick as a starter pick. So, I mean, as a team, when you're doing that, whoever you taking there has to be a person that has an immediate impact on the position, not somebody you're going to shelf or stash unless you got a situation set up like you Green Bay, like you have an established all-pro quarterback who's headed for a Hall of Fame career, and you draft the quarterback to sit behind him for 3 years. Like what they had Brett Favre, they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for like 3 years, I think it was, or 4 years. Y'all correct me in the chat, before he got on. And then they did the same thing with Jordan Love. And then that's something that works well because the quarterback has a couple of years where he's situated behind the starter and he's learning it. And then he gets ready and he jumps right in as opposed to from day one. So we had an opportunity to do that with an established guy like Drew, but there was no urgency, as you heard Mickey Loomis talk about. Like I said, drafting people are important, but the other part is getting the right guys here and getting them acclimated and using them in a successful way. So if you have an identity of your offense or what you're going to do, make sure you draft the correct player that can have an immediate impact. We need to get these guys in there as soon as we can. The higher picks, that is. And the rest of those guys need to be developed as well. Maybe not as starters, but potential starters or solid depth pieces. Let's get back to old Slick Mick.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know that I have a great answer for that. So,
What have you done up until now? Like, where have you drawn the line on? Is there more wiggle room in that position?
yeah, I think probably, yeah.
Is it because, I just looked back, I talked about the history, I think when you were in Seattle.
Yep.
Y'all got Dan McGuire and Rick Meyer in the first round while you were there. I know.
Yeah, I wasn't really involved in that decision making, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
That's truly, biography, those are the only two that were in the first round.
Yep.
During any part of your
Yep.
management tenure. Is it just coincidence or by design because you feel like you have to be picking in the top three to get a guy?
Good question. I don't know that I can answer that though. I mean, look, the guys you fall in love with at that position that you feel like are immediate players they're going to be taken in the top, 7 or 8, 10 picks, right? That's just the nature of it. That doesn't mean that you can't find a really good quarterback later. Just more often later, it's more speculative and there's more development that's required. So, I think that's what's the difference between taking someone in the top 5 or 6 versus taking someone later in the draft. Yeah, good question. Depends on what you're drafting. Depends on what you're drafting, right? I think if you're drafting up really high, you better love them.
You can try one more time.
Like from the media, none. I don't want to say 0 because I mean we see it, but yeah.
I'm going to try one more time because this is technically a follow-up to your opening statement. You said you.
Do you want me to say that I'm not going to answer that right now, or do you want me to wait till after your question?
Is up to you.
Okay.
You said you hope to have clarity on the Carr situation soon. Is that clarity as to his prognosis, or is that clarity on how this happened or how this is discovered?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing here. This is for a pre-draft press conference. It's not for those questions.
Is it going to be a press conference where you answer all Derek Carr's questions? Never going to happen.
Yeah.
Tomorrow they're looking to get quite a few names that played in the team. drafting first round.
Yeah.
So when you saw the whole week there, walked away from
Yep.
did you feel that way?
Yeah, I think there was a number of comments from our personnel staff that, man, there was a lot of really good players there for the week. Some of them didn't play in the game, but a lot of them were there at the beginning of the week, and then a lot of them played in the game. Yeah, I felt like last year was the talent level at the Senior Bowl was really good as well, and man, I think there's a lot of players that really helped themselves by going not only to the Senior Bowl but the East-West game, and yeah, those are valuable exposures for players, and are certainly valuable to us as evaluators.
What has it been like meeting on or Dr. Richmond?
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. You know, we've got him, we've got Scott Tolzien, we've got Doug Nussmeier, all who played the position in the league, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Are you seeing big differences in what? I'm sorry. Are you seeing big differences in what Kellen and Brandon Staley might want as opposed to what you were getting? We know they kind of had the same regime for a long time.
Yeah.
Are you seeing like fundamental differences in things they're looking for?
I don't think there's any real differences in terms of the intangible things. You know, the makeup of the players. I think there are some differences, particularly on defense, in what we're looking for based upon a different structure of the defense. But look, we're all just looking for really good football players who love the game and they're smart and tough, and you know, all that's the same. But there are some nuance. I think it's more, instead of differences, I'd say it's more nuance than differences.
Mickey, when you look at the impact now, letting me jump on the business case, like the running back position.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like the Saquon's contributions, like Derrick Henry, and that, do you feel like teams like going forward, I guess give you cyclical as far as like if
Yeah.
running backs are hot or not.
Yep.
How important does that come about that you have one that 1-2 punches with Kamara Zayn?
Yeah.
So that he's that, and as far as when you take a running back over.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we've always valued running backs. We understand, you know, what they provide in terms of winning. I think since I've been here, we've had a lot of really good running backs, you know, Ricky Williams and Deuce and Reggie and Mark and Alvin, and I'm probably leaving a couple out. But so I think we've always valued the position. I do think that, you know, what Philadelphia did with Saquon and elevated maybe the perception of that. I think that's helped running backs in general. He's a pretty special player. So yeah, I think it did help the perception, you know, at least, you know, league wide or maybe even the public perception.
Maybe how does Spencer Rattler affect? I mean, if you're going to draft a quarterback, it has to be somebody that you think could be above the Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I mean, we're speculating here. Like I said, it just, you know, we're in the business of developing quarterbacks. We like the guys we've got. That doesn't mean, you know, we're going to draft. How many draft picks we got? 9. We're going to draft 9 players. You know, there can be different positions. It doesn't mean that we don't like the guys at those positions that we have. It just means we're trying to add to the mix and create competition and make ourselves better. And so I don't think it's any different.
Got 9 picks for Mickey.
Yeah. I don't know that I can answer that question really, but I do know this, is that, you know, our philosophy and Kellen's philosophy is you build inside out. You know, offense, defensive line, you know, you got to put resources in those areas. That allows you to be a good football team. And so I think we're aligned in that.
I dig that. That's what I've been saying. Inside out. I get that. That's cool.
Without saying off the fan, if you have a message, because obviously some
Yeah.
of the answers are going to be a lightning rod for more fan frustration.
Yep.
Is there anything about being patient or there's like the end of the funnel?
No.
Or something that can give clarity on the situation we started with?
Now, look, I can't. Listen, we're 5-12. You know, we got to own that. We're 5-12, regardless of why, and that falls on my shoulders. So I understand the frustration. That it just is what it is. That comes with the job, and I understand that. So I got big shoulders in that regard.
This is similar to what Doug was asking earlier, but when you look at your roster and you're trying to decide how many guys that you term was that people would sleep at night.
Yeah.
5-12 fall on his shoulder. It's what it is. You know, 5-12 is decision making by this guy on the screen. He hired Dennis Allen. He didn't check Dennis Allen. He allowed Dennis Allen to crack and fracture his team. He didn't check him at all. He allowed him to have free reign, and he didn't fire him. It was you. The Who Dat Nation told Gail, hey, we ain't coming to them games. And they put his ass in the street. But Mickey Loomis was advocating for him. But if it was up to Mickey Loomis, he wouldn't have fired him. You would still have Dennis Allen running the team today if it wasn't for the supporters. So he has no. This guy is a moron, man. He has absolutely. I mean, good Lord, man. See, the thing about it, the winning and all that, like I can applaud the Joe Dumars move, and Joe Dumars did something. He brought Troy Weaver, who's an executive who used to be with the Pistons there. You know, and there's some good and bad there, but he's attempting to bring people that have some idea of what it takes to build a competitor. You know, um, this guy here is, if they love him so much, look at that guy, Mickey Loomis, general manager right there. He just needs to go. You know, it just go. But it's really disgusting how they run these teams, man. I mean, really, truly, fam. If you love him that much, keep him the VP, but get somebody else to be the general manager. Because you talk about Philadelphia, and he's making these references to Philly. Howie Roseman is a mover and shaker. He's a guy that's constantly making trades to improve his team. If Mickey Loomis had half of that, he would have been competing for that Saquon trade, to get Saquon there, to get the move to bring Saquon to New Orleans. It would have been something like that if he was really serious, but he's not. He's too calm. Because he's comfortable, and that's dangerous. And when you losing and you're 5-12, and this is the demeanor of a 5-12, we got to earn it. There is no apologizing to you. That would have been a perfect opportunity for him to apologize to the support base about the pathetic and crappy ass product they've been putting on the field. The excuses that they've been making, this crappy, stupid possum face coach they had here for the last 3 years, not knowing what he's doing, bringing this ingrate $150 million, 14 and 13 ass quarterback down here that he refuses to talk about. And he sits up here, well, I got big shoulders in that regard. No, you don't have big shoulders, Mickey Loomis. You don't have big shoulders at all. You don't have any sense at all of what's going on with the team. You're 5-12. This is 3 straight years of losing. What is it, 3 years? I forget now. It's a lot of losing. But this guy is the reason why. Single-handedly, this guy here is the main reason why, because the poor drafting, not developing the proper talent, the instability of the team, the injury room still stupid and garbage, weak depth, building teams that can't absorb injuries correctly, no accountability at the top, and it goes on and on and on. This is the source of all the dysfunction you're looking at him. This moron. Did you learn anything thus far? Because I really didn't learn too much. I already knew Kellen Moore was a guy that felt like building the trenches up. You can look at what happened with Philadelphia to understand that you build from the inside out. The Saints, I've been saying it for a while, the Saints offensive line could be better than what it is. The depth was terrible. The mind frame of the Saints offensive line is weak. It was almost like they were going through the motions. The Saints defensive line now can't stop the run. So obviously you won't build trenches inside. But it's like the same. You got a good offensive lineman, you got a good defensive lineman that you can use to build, but the quality position, the diva position at the top, you need a quarterback to win. And like I said, the NFC South teams have a quarterback. They've made a decision on it. Not saying Spencer can be the guy. But if you got a top 10 guy there, man, you got to take him and work around the rest. But this is the source. Let's ever get through this, man. I'm not really learning too much from this guy at all.
Well, I don't know that I can answer that exactly right. I can say this, though. Look, we've got a first-round pick, a second-round pick, 2/3 and 2/4. I feel really good about that because I think we'll get good players in all of those spots. And that makes me feel good. You know, last time we had this many picks in the first 4 rounds, I think was 2017, and that was a pretty good draft. I hope we have the same issue, you know, with 4 years later, we're trying to keep these guys and we can't keep them all. I hope that's the issue, that they're all good players and then it becomes difficult to keep them all.
Mickey, when you say that the starting quarterback is upcoming something on the team right now, that can be addressed in free agency or the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to answer that question because that'll just lead to a bunch of speculation, whichever way I answer it.
Take 2 or 3 more.
What do you think is you mentioned, positional need off the Braves and whatnot. In your opinion, what do you think is the biggest positional need for this team entering the draft with so much draft capital?
Yeah, Yeah, I'm not going to answer that because I get the question and there is an answer to it.
Pre-draft
But I'm not going to answer it because I don't want to
Mickey.
give away which direction we might be leaning. Appreciate the question though. Now, listen, we study every player that's eligible for the draft, regardless of position. So that hasn't changed. You want evaluations of these guys because they might become free agents. They might fall down to you. You just never know. So I think we're pretty diligent on really every guy in the draft because remember this process starts a year ago, 2 years ago. We don't even know when we're drafting it. When we're going through that early part of the process. So you have to evaluate every player.
2 years ago.
Well, look, you got a serious knee injury, so it's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while on Taysom.
Yeah, I think when I have more information, we'll deal with that. Which is what I said. Actually, I'll give you that. Here's the carrot. Where's Matt? Here's the carrot, Matt. So we are going to exercise the option on Chris, and we're not going to exercise the option on Trevor. But that doesn't mean we don't love Trevor and expect him to be part of our team going forward. Is that enough of a carrot?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I made somebody happy. I like it. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Mickey Loomis not saying junk. All right, Mickey Loomis, let's get you on out of here with Dick Gregory. What Dick Gregory has to say about
Stop,
it.
y'all keep talking. Huh? You keep talking, man. And you shut the up.
Oh man, I didn't learn a damn thing from Mickey Loomis. I didn't learn anything. But this is pretty much what, like I said, I didn't watch it just to listen to it, and it really wasn't nothing. And the big thing is the Derek Carr thing that's hanging over the team. The Derek Carr thing is big, because obviously the guy what's going on there? What's going on there? What's happening there? What's the word on the Derek Carr thing? And he's just pretending like, I'm not going to answer any questions on that. I'm just saying, hold on. I'm not going to do it. Hold on. Just look at my jacket and tell me, why ask me about my jacket? I'm like, doesn't it look good with my hair? No, none of that? Oh, okay. Whatever. It's ridiculous, man. On his face, man. This is the New Orleans Saints general manager person. This guy. This guy. Oh man. Oh my goodness. I think before Gail do anything, I think some spiritual forces will have to transition him up out of here before Gail do anything about it. But the reality is, it's just ridiculous, man. Yeah, you're not learning anything. Haven't learned anything. That was 30 minutes, just thrown away. He refused to ask the most pertinent, important questions, which was, "What's up with Carr? Why are you refusing to talk about it? Give any information? It's not a secret. It's not something what are you going to do there? And Carr is basically positioning himself to force his way out of New Orleans. Whether I don't see if he's hurt and he's really hurt, you can't trade a hurt player, right? So what is he trying to do? Be a post June 1st cut? Is that what he's forcing himself to do? So, but the thing is, like I said, this is all the creation of this guy. He created all this madness. This fool here. We could have got from under Carr's contract. How did he pass the physical? Doesn't want to talk about it. Triplett tried to hit on it, and he just moved right past it. I doubt he even gave him a physical. The way this team ran it's just uncanny and amazing to me, man. It explains a great deal of why the last several drafts were so not too good. The team's depth is underwhelming. The only thing the Saints consistently do well is get undrafted guys and turn them into starters so they don't have to pay them anything. So we got a lot of undrafted guys here that's making waves, but in terms of hitting on the draft, the Saints have a very low grade there. So I'm not impressed from what I heard from this guy tonight, and that goes pretty much what it's been doing. All right, let's pivot to you guys, man. We just over an hour. Y'all do me a service, hit the like button, man. What's up, B Jizzle? Shout out to my brother B Jizzle in the building. Mad Drummer, I see you, fam. What's up, T Mama? Shout out to the Queen, T Mama. What's happening, baby? How you doing out there? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the chat. Andrew says tomorrow's draft will say it all. Yes, indeed, sir. Much love. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a lot of the smoke and mirrors. The first round of the draft is tomorrow, and there's all this stuff about Shador. I listen. I hope that he does fall to the Saints at 9 because that'll be telling. Because they saying what Saints are doing, they're hot and heavy and all this kind of stuff over Jackson Dart. I seen some dude draft Jackson Dart, and I mean, was that Charles Davis? Did that? Somebody drafted Jackson Dart at 10. I'm like, so where the hell was, I mean, at 9, and where was Shador? Shador wasn't even in the first round, and I think that was Charles Davis's draft. He had one of the NFL guys had the Saints taking Jackson Dart at 9. Boy, I was like, what? Like it's just ridiculous. But let him fall to us at 9. The Saints should draft that kid. If he's there at 9, you draft him and you go and you do whatever else you got to do. In the second round, you come back in the second round if you're looking for a defensive end. Princely from Ole Miss should be available in that second round. Pierce is going to be gone, obviously. Williams from Georgia will be gone, but Princely will be available in the second round if you want him. As some people think should go in the third, but he'll be available, and several other really talented players will be available in the second round if you want a starter at that other end position. But remember, with 1, 2, and 3, you're trying to take starters there. That's the idea. With the first round draft pick, we're trying to get a starter. You see what I'm saying? So if Shador's there, he justifies the pick at 9. He's a top 5 player, top 10 player. You get him at 9. That's quality. And your QB position is obviously up for grabs because your in-grade quarterback, who's not a professional, is trying to berate himself out of here. Whether he's mad or hurt or whatever the case may be, we got to make a move there. Very important position. Then you go elsewhere. Maybe another starter is needed at the opposite defensive end position of Brian Bresee on the 3-4 line. Maybe a cornerback. You can use another starting cornerback to go there. You just maybe left guard. You're not happy there. Perhaps you see a tackle there for Penning. Like you don't see Penning as the future of the team after this year, and you want to get from up under him. Maybe that could be something. So, like I said, the first round is tomorrow. We'll see exactly what's going on. I will be here live for the first round for the family members. Thursday's show, I will be here live. Friday's show, we'll be here live for rounds 2 and 3, and all of Saturday. So we'll open up the phone lines on Saturday. We'll hear from you guys through the broadcast. Pops Q will be joining us on the Saturday broadcast. This is big time for us. And then, of course, as the night when the draft ends, the UDFAs will then get signed, and we'll know exactly who our undrafted guys will be. That's a big part of what we do in a Who Dat Nation, because a great deal of those guys eventually become starters for us. That's the reputation that we've cultivated here. All right. Let's see. Any questions, man? Brother Byron says, Q, I can't deal with Mickey Mouse. Look at him. Look at his hands. And he ain't doing nothing with all that motion. Can handle none. He says none kind of moves as general manager. Has to go. Won't allow BS mess him. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Byron. Shout out to you, brother. All right, L Dub says, "Can we draft a new GM?" Yeah, I'll be like, hey, man, this is a joke. This is the day before the draft, and I don't expect him to tell you exactly what's going on. But at the same time, I don't understand why he pivots to this is just pre-draft talk. Who cares? This is Saint talk. We need to know what's going on. The most important position on the team is the quarterback. Tell us what's going on. It's not a secret. Unless you're trying to hide the fact that you was responsible. We already know he's responsible. Who else is doing it? There's no general manager making these decisions. He's both guys. So obviously it's easy to pinpoint the problem. All right. Mad Drummer says, you ain't going to learn nothing, Q. I've learned nothing except for the only thing that he said He said, now, if you listen to previous press conferences, and I've done that over the years, you can go throughout and hear me doing this, playing these press conferences with Mickey Loomis, and it's basically the same thing. He's basically saying the same rhetoric, doing that. Like, I don't expect you to drop insight on who you're going to draft or what position you're looking at, because we could if you know the team, you got your own evaluations, and you know which direction the team is going in. You know your team. You know where they're weak at. Now, whether your coaching staff knows that's a whole nother thing. But if you're Kellen Moore, it's very smart for you to look at your offensive line and defensive lines, because they were not good, especially when they started getting banged up. Defensive line couldn't stop a nosebleed, and the offensive line couldn't run the ball effectively. Could not run the ball. Dumb backups when they were hurt, didn't know what to do. They were weak, didn't know the playbook. It was an absolute joke. But you got to build the lines up. The offensive line coach got to drive Ruiz and make him better than what he is. And it's a lot of stuff there. So, like I said, we'll see what happens here. All right. What's up, YO? Shout out to you. Be kind. What's up, Be kind? All right. Snakebite says, what did we learn today? Mickey is still a clown. Yeah, he is, bro. That's not going to change. I really didn't like the part of this comical situation when the reporter mentioned the fact that the support base was upset about the losing. It's not just one season of losing we're upset with. Don't forget, they had these talented players who are better. You had Tyrann Mathieu, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan. A couple of years ago, Cam Jordan was actually pretty productive. He got 5 or 6 sacks over the last 2 years, but prior to that, he was actually had some respectable sack totals before he fell off the cliff. But the thing is, the Saints over the last 3 years, they squandered the window of these guys. Taysom Hill was still very good. You had other guys on the team. Alvin Kamara's timeline over the last 3, they squandered all of that. They squandered it. Completely wasted the time with this dumb coach, and he takes no responsibility for that. That's why people don't like Mickey Loomis. Nobody don't hear no clown up here talking fool. He don't even admit to the mistake that Dennis Allen was. He's still a good coach, is what he says. Mondal says, why do I have this feeling that Mickey has reversed course on Carr and bending the knee? That's why all of a sudden they're off drafting the QB in the first. You still got to get a quarterback. I mean, every year the Saints, whether they get one in the first round, bro, they're going to take a quarterback. That's just the MO of the Saints. Now, the thing is, now all of a sudden it's about lines and all this, and we don't know exactly what's going on, bro. All I know is they pivoted to Jackson Dart. And I like Jackson Dart. I just don't see him as a first round quarterback. But they pivoted to him maybe as a smokescreen to get away from Shedeur Sanders, to make them think they don't love Shedeur. But I think a lot of craziness is going on here. And we'll see how crazy the Saints are in the rest of the NFL. They're stupid enough to let Shedeur Sanders slide, bro. But thank you for that, Mont. Shout out to you, brother. All right. Yeah, we don't know, man. We're going to definitely know what time it is. What's up, Bobbin? Bobbin with the Johnson says, how is he going to give us updates on Taysom but say this is a pre-draft product? Mickey's is crazy. He's really crazy. Inevitable. Says Gail fired this dude and hired Ozzie Newsome. It's Ozzie Newsome is old as dust. I'll take a mummified version of Ozzie Newsome than Mickey Loomis any day. Straight up. All right. All right, T-Mama said she was getting a mire. Okay, that's good, Queen. That's good. Good to hear that. All right. Okay, thank you. Backwoods, shout out to you. All right, who else we got there? Much love, man. Yeah, this is we need to figure it out, man. It's crazy. Yeah, it's whatever the head scratching emoji is, that's what you put up when you listen to Mickey Loomis. But nah, I listen to this, fam, and listen, let's see what y'all, we got the poll question going on, fam. Y'all put it in the chat. Let me know how y'all feel. Now, we done already had over 100 some odd people that voted in the poll. What grade would you give Mickey Loomis for today's presser? What grade would you give him? Would you give him an A, a B, a C, or a D? 70% of the pollers gave him a D or lower in the poll. 20% was a C, 7 was an A, and 4% was a B. 60, and now it goes 69% now. 69% of the people in the poll in the chat gave Mickey Loomis a D or lower, and I totally understand that. I really do. It's just nah. This guy's the leader of your team. This guy doesn't change. You gotta snatch the team from up under this guy. And Gail Benson, I don't know what's going on with that. All right, thank y'all. He's putting the F in the chat. Yeah, the grade is incomplete. I got you, man. Yeah. All right. So anyway, fam, listen, man. This is let me see if I can pivot to it. But yeah, the biggest thing is he talked about Derek Carr. We're gonna have to see what's going on. We got to see what's going on with the Derek Carr situation going forward. It's not something you can act like it's all cool and laugh it off and sniggle and giggle and sweep it under the. No, it's that Derek Carr situation has to be resolved by all costs. It's a black eye to the team. Derek Carr, I just really don't think you want. Derek Carr doesn't want to be here, and I get it. Let the man go. But we have to definitely find a quarterback, and we'll see what they got going on, man, because they can go in any direction. But tomorrow, family, the next 3 days, we finally get this over with, man. All this guessing games and all this smoke screen stuff, it gets to a point where it just gets on my nerves. I know it did too. All right, Jay Hunt says, I never was in Ted McMillan, and we need Genty or Sanders if they fall to us. I don't know if Genty gets to you, Jay Hunt. I don't know if Genty gets to you, brother. Ted McMillan, a lot of people predicting him to slide. I mean, he might not be in the top 10 no more, but, I don't know how far he goes, but that depends, bro. Maybe some people forgot about it. But him saying that, and I don't think he slid further than what Shador have, and they call Shador entitled. That's what some of the people come out with. I'm like, I knew it was hating on Deion Sanders. Yeah, I knew it was hating. It was going to eventually show itself that his children and all this kind of stuff, it was just hating. It's hating on Deion Sanders because there's nothing that you can say wrong about that man. There's nothing you can say about him. You can't say he's a daddy boy riding off of Deion's name. He made a name for himself. You can't say he a criminal because he ain't doing nothing. You can't say he's stupid because he's smart, he's confident, and he's humble. You can't say that his stats was worse than this other kid out here when he was basically leading the charge the entire damn year. You can't say none. You can't say that he's not tough because he stood in the pocket, stared down the gun, took shots and hits in front of that line there at Colorado. You can't say, all this type of, he's not as fast as he's supposed to be. His arm ain't as strong as it's supposed to be, but don't talk about how intelligent the kid is, how fast he processes something, how he has the big game gene, the leadership ability, none of that. But he's entitled now. And that's what I knew it was some sneaky shit like that. I knew it. JT says, Q, I said this before, Sean Payton will trade Mickey and give him a 7-round pick for our 3 rounds. Remember, he's a dummy. Yeah, Mickey Loomis is out of his mind, man. Look at him. Look how crazy that he looked. He looked disheveled. Harris says the lowest grade you can give him is a po' boy and tell him peace. There you go. Thank you, brother. All right. Quavadia says, don't be surprised if you see an offensive tackle at 9, especially if Will Campbell is still in there. Hey, bro, listen. Even though I want Shador Sanders to be drafted to be the quarterback if he's there, but positions I'm cool with the Saints drafting is anything along the line. If you get Will Campbell or if Armand Mimbo is there or Kevin Banks Jr., a lot of people saying he could be. If you can get a first round top 15 style player there, a top 10 style player there at 9, an impact player, a starter, can't be mad at that. It might not have been a pick that I wanted, but they're addressing a position of need, which is the line. They have to build up the line. The line is incredibly weak, and they really didn't do too much in free agency anyway early on to address it. Will Campbell and what's the other guy name? Dylan Rudance, who's on a 1-year deal from Tennessee. So, if you get Will Campbell there, Trevor Penning is basically a done data. That's pretty much it. Yeah, so Quavadia saying according to Nick, he's saying they're high on alignment. We'll see, bro. We shall see, man. We'll see. Yeah, they definitely, T Mama. Yeah, it at the end because I was asking the question leading up to the draft, what's going on with the curious case of Shador sliding. He didn't do anything. He ain't on some Shannon Sharp type stuff where you got all this going on or alleged stuff going on. He ain't got none of that. Clean as a cucumber. You don't have any controversial stuff, nothing bad or negative. And he's sliding. And then, like I said, I seen a report. I don't know if y'all seen it or not when they were talking about it. A lot of the execs considered him entitled. I'm like, what does that got to do with football? How's entitled a thing that slides and the production is there? What are you talking about? It's something. It's against Deion Sanders. All right, Tiptoe 28 says Q. He says it was hard listening to Mickey and not thinking Q's going to kill this tonight. Yeah, it's because it gets old after a time, bro. Mickey Loomis doesn't change, bro, and he's getting worse. What's up, Cartel? Shout out to you, bro. Nate Frost, apparently Williams has the highest odds to be taken by the Saints at 9. Shaking my head. That doesn't sound like a top 10 worthy pick. And listen, Michael Williams is good. I like him from Georgia. I just think that Pierce from Tennessee is better at that 3-4. I would love to see Pierce from Tennessee there. Nothing against Micah. Like him a lot, really good player, but I like Pierce from Tennessee. I think he's more of that's a plug and play player right off the top. He can rush the pass, so he can set the edges right away. That's a starter. So we'll see what they do, man, with that. Maul says somebody needs to find a Mickey tape talking to him. Hold on now, goddammit. Hold on. I'm a married man here. Hold on. I don't play that. Hold on. Only time I go outside is I'm going to my car and I don't go to the grocery store anymore. I get my groceries delivered now. That's the only time, goddammit. You can't prove anything. But Mickey's obvious. But seriously, man, Mickey Loomis is actually getting worse. He's getting worse because this is what non-accountability gets you. A guy like this running amok, making terrible decisions at the top of your team. And I mean, this is what he's getting worse. He's getting worse. He believes everything he's doing, and even though it's just sad, man. It's like it's the same thing over again, but getting worse. For Mickey, he's not improving. John says the racists don't like flashy blacks. Let's keep it real. The white hoods will never like it. Allow them. They control. Well, I mean, Deion Sanders has a reputation of being pretty flashy, Deion, this type of stuff. And Deion is not lacking for any lack of competence. But his children, his children are respectable. They respectable. And as far as what I know about Shador, I mean, he's a good guy. He's earned his name and he did what he's supposed to do. Shiloh, on the other hand, is like, he's also a good kid. He's a little bit more Deion in terms of what he does on the football field, but but it's difficult for him because he's a safety, playing safety, and his father played DB. So he's not nearly that level, but he still carries the Sanders name. He got some good things going about him, but the QB position with Shador is something else totally. But yeah, they were saying that, man, about him, and I just thought that was ridiculous. All right, he says, I want to pull your coattail, Q, on Cam. He said he played 2 years ago and was placed behind Young last year. Really don't know if he fell off the way of like. Well, I mean, bro, listen, the Cam thing, right? And I'm talking about when you look off at his statistics. Like if you go back and look at Cam's last 2 years, it was like combined for like 5 or 6 sacks, and he has some injury concerns, such and such. But if you go prior to that, he had like an 8 sack year or something like that. His sacks were actually what we know Cam Jordan to be. But we all know still and all that when you get to a point, you're gonna fall off sooner or later. That's why some of these guys you got to have a replacement. Now the Saints literally tried to replace Cam Jordan or find a guy that could pick up the pace. They drafted Davenport, they drafted Peyton Turner, and they drafted Isaiah Foskey. All of those guys didn't work, and they just punted on Peyton Turner last year and then signed Chase Young to a contract. They just realized that they failed drafting, these defensive linemen and decided to do something else. We're just going to get Chase Young and bring him here. and just literally, and Peyton Turner's a Dallas Cowboy now. So, but Cam he's not the same. Now you could say it's possibly how the way they're using him. I can understand you, which if that's your conversation, it's your argument. But I mean, that's what happened to a lot of these players. They don't stay good forever. Eventually they fell off. Father Time catches them. And that's the problem we have. And it's crazy because we got some really good players. These are Hall of Fame players. I don't know about Demario Davis being he's Saint Hall of Fame. I don't know if he's NFL Hall of Fame, but he's a good player. You got Cam, Demario, and Tyrann Mathieu. Where are their replacements? There is no replacement for Demario Davis currently on the team. There is no replacement for Tyrann Mathieu. And Cam Jordan, who's Cam Jordan's replacement? I guess it wasn't Carl Granderson was undrafted and took the job. So you have an undrafted player, and Carl Granderson got paid. Chase Young got paid. Those are your starters there they moved them to the linebacker now. And your defense, your 3 down linemen potentially could be, I know Brian Brissy on one side with Devon Gacho from the Patriots. He's a potential nose tackle. And then the opposite side, it'll be hopefully not Cam. Maybe it'll be a Pierce or somebody like that you want to set. And Cam comes off the bench as a reserve defensive lineman. But yeah, Father Time catches us all, bro, and injuries and all that's a part of it, But like I said, at this stage of his development, Cam is just playing out the string, bro. I mean, he's just a backup guy that's supposed to be backing up, Maul says, "Q, we need Mickey on." I don't know. I seen what Shannon Sharp said. He put out those really ratchet text messages about this girl and all this great stuff about gravy and all that. I'm like, what? What? I didn't know what was going on. What's she talking about? And I'm like, how old is this girl? And I said, how old is Shannon? Man, come on, bro. What you doing? See? Where you at up here? Where you up here? Where is this at? Come on. Don't he got a daughter or something? How you do what? What is that? What do you think going on here? It's just unbelievable how dumb these people are, man. And she's sitting up there with just taping her ass off, and he just whatever, Carly, or whatever the girl name is. Whatever. You just make me want to choke you. And then she paused for a long time. Obviously, he's so dumb, he don't even realize it. Well, I don't want to be choked. Yes, you do. What? Like, dude, what did you? Just a dummy. Dummy. Goodness, what they got? Yes, you do. No. What's up all this? What's up here? Just dumb. He put out all that. This is a good look. So you gonna put out them nasty ass tests? Oh my goodness! He put out them nasty ass text messages. I'm like, brother, is this supposed to help your case? Yes, yes, Big Q. I'm establishing the fact that she's a freak. Oh well, listen, man. Hold on here. What? I mean, oh Lord, goodness gracious, man, these people don't have it. And Stephen A. Smith, he put out a thing. He ain't riding for nobody. He trying to get Shannon out of there. They must know Shannon might be the guy they choose over him in time. So he's a turncoat and a backstabber anyway. He sees him as competition. He might be his platform a little too big. I might have to see if I can separate. Maybe I could play in between. That's how they do it. That's why it's hell waiting on Stephen A. and all these old clowns up there. For the life of me, I don't still know how Phil Yates got a job when they was cutting all them people off. I'm like, what the hell does Phil Yates do? How's he continue to stick around? How's he still sticking around? Everybody getting cut off. They went through all those cuts and all these really good people, but he's still there. What you doing, bro? I can guess what you're doing, but it's these people are incredibly wicked people, man. Incredibly wicked people. Incredibly wicked. You don't do that, man. Nate says, do you think we see Kellen more impact on these early picks, or we still see Jeff and Mickey type picks this year? I think it's Jeff Ireland more so than Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis didn't even know how many draft picks we had. How many picks do we have? It's 13 of them, Mickey. Oh, it's 13. Okay, we got 13 picks. No, it's not, Mickey. No, it's not. He didn't even know. He didn't even know. I think it's more of Ireland doing the scouting, and Mickey Loomis listens to Jeff Ireland, and he makes one. Now, Jeff Ireland is getting a bad rep because of some of the players the Saints are taking. But the reality is the players are actually good players. It's the other half of the equation that needs to be factored in, fam. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you draft these players, you got to have a position for them and people that have a vision for them to get them acclimated. And even if, like, you have a quarterback that does this or a running back that does this, you're supposed to know how to at least use what they do really well and work them into your offense until it, and kind of fold them into it. If it's a running back that's really good at catching the ball out the backfield, or it's a certain skill set or something that they used to do where they came from, you could try to utilize that in the pro game in your offense or your defense, depending on what they do well, and kind of then build that confidence and that know-how within the system. And we don't always do that well with the draft pick guys. Like Foskey he didn't develop like what he's supposed to because he didn't see the field. There was no way for him to see the field. He was buried on the depth chart behind guys. How was he supposed to get better? You don't working in practice is one thing, but you don't really see the incline until you get on the field and you get involved in the speed of the game and you get used to playing against NFL competition on the field. That's when you see yourself grow as a player. And not just saying special teams, but he's a second round pick. That means he's supposed to be starting in some capacity. The Trevor Penning thing was another thing. He's underdeveloped. Because he hasn't, it was his first year last year. He's going into year 4, and the Saints just turned down his 5th-year option, obviously for good money sense. But his development was warped because of the lack of playing time. And you can see, if you look at his college accolades, that he was a hell of an offensive lineman in college. He had all these accolades. He come to the pros, the game changed. His confidence was impacted on how the Saints utilized him. Remember, they did that thing with Ryan Ramczyk when, before you really knew how bad Ryan's injuries were, they would not move Ryan Ramczyk from the right side. And they were paying him all that money to stay situated at the right side. And I kept saying, why are they doing that? You don't put a rookie, to a blindside rookie. You don't do that. Now, Penning, certain ones are different. Willie Rove, Tali Fuaga, it's different guys. They have that temperament. I knew off top Trevor Penning wasn't that guy to be a blindside tackle, to guard your scary ass quarterback or whoever you put back there. So in the end, you just can't do that. But he operates better from the right side. If you got a right-handed quarterback, he can see over there. But the blindside guy, nah, it's not him. You put your money guy over there, and they didn't want to move Penning, and that kind of hurt him. Because Penning ultimately have to retire due to leg issues or whatever it is. And then you have Penning, who had a stalled development. So, I mean, you got to have a place for these guys to get there. So I think it's more Jeff, and then Loomis pulls the trigger on the move. Darwin says, I think Cam's and defense overall suffers from lack of run-stopping defensive tackle ever since we got rid of Malcolm Brown. Our run-hanging game has suffered. I can agree, Butcher. Malcolm Brown, not just Malcolm Brown, but, we had also David Onyemata and Shai Tuttle did a pretty decent job. But you're right. The Saints started using this tweener thing with the 4-3 units. They started when we could just interchange them, and they just got too cute. No, you still need a nose tackle, a defensive nose tackle. You still need that guy. You still need that big, massive guy that draws a double team every time it takes two guys to block that big guy. And then you have the ends they fire off, and somebody going to draw a double team while somebody frees up for the single, And that's how it got to go. So three defensive linemen have to occupy 5 offensive linemen, keep them busy for the linebackers to roam around in 3-4 look well. But that could be a possibility. We shall see this year, right? Or he has a daughter, T Mama. How old is that man's daughter? How old is she? Older than this woman that he got through on there? Whatever, Gabriel. What's the lady name? Gabby, something like that. The woman straight up taping him. Did y'all hear that? I mean, she's sitting there with him on the phone. Obviously, there's a recorder there. It's probably your boy doing it. The ambulance chasing ass dude out of Texas. I'm like, how they ain't yanked this guy's license already? You know, he bringing up all of this stuff, and then they scare the athletes or whoever they are, entertainers, these things, so they don't go thing. And then when you force the person to go to court, they say, "Oh, we ain't going to court." how they ain't yanked that man license doing these little sneak games? He played with Jay-Z. Jay-Z gave him his issue. He gave him his issue. He held that big press conference, did all that stuff, and ain't nothing became of that. At some point, if it's found out that the other person did this wrongly, they need to be sued into oblivion. Because that'll stop a lot of this. If it's real, go and report it right away. Why wasn't none of this reported? You know, and then I'm seeing that she was going back for more. So how you doing this? And then all of a sudden this type of thing. What's going on here? So like I said, man, we'll see more of it. But man, what he said is a shakedown. What is the 70s? Young people saying it's a what? It's a shakedown. Club shake, it's a shakedown. Nah, whatever. Tragic. What's up, brother? He said his oldest daughter he got more than one daughter? I thought he had I thought green outfit. I thought something was shaking. Something was wrong over here. Hold on now. Hold on, green outfit. I thought something was going on over there. Hold on. He got children? Hold on. English say he looked like a dry, hard loser with, yeah. Well, Loomis. Yeah, it looked like Loomis is falling on a hard time, bro. He at the casino, wait for his check to clear so he can gamble. All right. Yeah, this is crazy. Man, I seen that, man. It's crazy, man. She says, T-Mama says, Gabby was talking about what she do. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I seen that. I was like, what? All that, I mean, they just nastiness just coming right on out. You know, and I was like, what is this? And it's just, dude, what did you think was going on? And then I guess if old boy can make, it's just too much, man. You know, it's too much going on. It's the same little crew. Didn't Shannon Sharp come from Fox? It wasn't he over there with Skip Bayless? Didn't Skip Bayless had something that just happened with that old girl? He was trying to buy love on a lonely highway. And then the other old girl that was working there, she threw her in the crossfire. The other girl who using her who's selling good cookies out of the bakery shop. I was like, old girl climbing up there. She must be a hell of a baker. That old woman, she called her Joy. I said that somebody must have gave that name and knew what they were talking about, baby. Let me tell you something, baby. What that song Blackstreet had, she's giving me joy. That there. Joy must be a hell of a baker. Cause she climbing up there, and that old boy, what's his name, was on there sniffing his finger. I said he was talking about her while he was sniffing. I was like, y'all, anybody see what I see here? I see too much. I be seeing it all. He sit up there talking about her. This Ocho, what's his name? I don't know the man name. Y'all know. He was talking about her, how great she is, and he's sitting up there sniffing his finger. I say, hold on here, what? What's going on? Oh my goodness. Man, listen, what happened to doing it the right way, right? Getting up there based on your talent. What's all this cookie selling out here? What's going on? When did they start all these damn bakeries? I'm not aware of all this. Tiptoe said, yeah, Busby is a crock. He says, when I heard when he was accused of rape, I was expecting to hear he's been arrested. But when they said he's being sued for $50 million, I knew it was a scam. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Busby got a bad reputation. Somebody got it. I didn't know where all these bakeries been at, fam. All this cookies selling and all this. What's going on in the sports world, peoples? All right, anyway, let me get on out of here, man, on that. Yeah, that Shannon Sharp. Man. That what you doing, man? Boy, I tell you, man. These folks here, they out of their control. But anyway, man, listen, I'm about to get on up out of here, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all today. Y'all hit y'all right now. I think that's the final in in the poll right now, and that's the final right there. We had 100. Thanks to our voters that put it out there. The winner of today's poll question: what grade would you give Mickey Loomis? 72% of the Who Dat Nation gave him a D or lower on this press conference today. Not much to see here, but it's always good to talk to the Who Dat Nation and talk about, what's going on with the family members. Now, of tomorrow, fam, Thursday is round one. We're gonna be live for the summation of it. We'll see who the Saints, whatever moves that they're making, if there's trades involved, or whatever the case, we'll be here to cover it live. We'll be here Friday, and then we'll be here Saturday all day covering the black and gold draft. So with that being said, man, listen, I'm going to get out on that. Y'all do us a service and show our sponsorship some love. The links are in the chat. They're in the description section below. Show us some love. Check out the links, man. Help support the platform. Go to whothatdaily.com. Sign up for the news list as well to get all the latest from the platform, not just the Sports Coma, but also basketball, college football, all that other stuff, boxing, all that's going on at the whothatdaily.com. Please join up to get the latest. So with that being said, y'all have a really good rest of your day. I'll see you guys on Thursday, round number 1 of the Saints draft. Much love. Who Dat to you. Peace.
Yeah. Like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat Nation.